Hi, this is Amy with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Saturday the 14th of June. Starting with the S&P, which has done, I suppose, part of what we were thinking it might do, i.e. test the old initial May resistance 59.70's new support. In fact, the low on Friday 59.63, so that kind of added up. End of day closed back below 59.70, and we're risking a move down towards the 57.70 zone, which was the May support area for this market, and also another level derived from an old resistance point. That should be the worst case scenario. In terms of the best case scenario, above 59.70, still looking for a retest of 61.50, the year highs. Best case would be 6300 at the top of that broadening triangle from May last year, but obviously at the moment that seems a rather long way away. Moving on to the Nasdaq, and here you can see that we narrowly missed testing the 22,200 level and come back still above the initial May resistance there, 21,500, and while we're above that, still have the possibility of testing the highs from February. Best case here on the upside is 23,000 at the top of that triangle from last year. Worst case, probably the May support zone, 20,800, which was briefly touched last month. Moving on to the stocks, and the first one is in the form of Baird Medical. Here you can see that had a go at breaking that resistance line there, the red one around $5.90 on Friday. Looking for another attempt, hopefully early next week, and looking for the shares to stay above the 50-day line, $5.15. Can do all that, then a retest of the initial 2025 resistance at the top of the channel through $10 could be on its way. That's probably a better angle there, maybe even up to $11 on that situation. Moving along to a stock which hopefully will be a winner, well, more of a winner even over the near term, which is coming up now. Critical metals. Here it looks like a rising trend channel base, and here with the market above the 50-day line there at $1.63, looking for not only that retest that we've already had of May resistance, but up to $3 plus at the top of that rising trend channel base by the end of next month. But the key here, holding above that 50-day line. Another stock in motion at the moment is Circle Internet, and here we're not much gone at all, but we are guessing because we like guessing. So no point not guessing. Guessing that the top of the channel here is around the $180 mark. And we could achieve that area while we're above $120, which is recent broken neckline resistance on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see if that charting magic can kick in again for that situation. One of the best movers at the moment is Houston American, and here managed to blow the doors off our previous target there, around $8.50. Above that, we are now looking for as high as $25 by the end of next month, or even by the end of this month, especially while we're above the old resistance there, $11.65 from back in March. Indonesia Energy is next, and here a vertical takeoff there for the shares. The interest here is that we're in a wide rising trend channel, top of the channel there, heading for $8.30. We're looking for that by the end of next month, especially while we're above the old October-November resistance zone, $4.50 on an end-of-day close basis. I suppose you'd have to allow down to the $4.20 zone, as that was the floor of the gap higher on Friday. The next situation is Icon Energy, and here you can see that the shares are trying to regroup after a rather painful decline that they had to start the year. What's interesting here is that we probably have a rising trend channel base heading towards $5.20, and we're looking for that while we're above resistance on the way down around the $2.60 mark. That was back at the beginning of April. The next contender is KLX, and here interesting situation in the sense that it looks as though the price channel there is quite a steep one, heading for $5.30. That would take out basically the the February and March resistance for the shares, and we're looking for that while we're above the 50-day line at $2, but also above the $2.40 area, which was broken May resistance, or is broken May resistance. Ideally, we stay above that. On to the next situation, which takes us to Mexco Energy, and here Massive gap to the upside. I suppose you could argue it's a bear trap island reversal, so gapping down back in February and gapping up during the week. Top of the channel there, heading for $16. We're looking for that by the end of this month, especially while we're above the old support area around $10.60, which is also the floor of that February-March gap. In fact, that March gap, to be more precise. The next situation is Neonode, and here, rising trend channel, very steep one as well, which is obviously good news. Here we've got channel in place in September, top of the channel there at $21.70. We're looking for that by the end of this month, while we remain above the old September peak there, around $15.10. So hopefully Neonode can deliver on that. One of the few blue chip rises which rose by any amount, any margin rather, on Friday was Oracle, and really heading for the stars at the moment. What's interesting, obviously, apart from the fact that the shares broke out of that falling trend channel around the low 160s, is the way that we've got a resistance line projection there heading for as high as $250. We're looking for that by the end of this month, while we're above the Thursday resistance around the $200 mark. So above 200, looking for 250 or 260 even by the end of this month. I suppose if you're cautious, you make it or stretch it to the end of next month. On to the last two. The first one is Recon technology, and here looks like a rising trend channel, wide one there from back in August last year. Top of the channel there heading for $4.60, and that's what we're looking for, especially while we're above recent resistance around the $2.50 mark. Ideally, we don't go back below the 220 area, which is the recent breakout zone. RSI 50 rebound. In fact, we've had 2 or 3 of those in the recent past, so this looks quite strong. Finishing off with US energy, and here big spike for the shares. What will be interesting now is whether they can stay above the old February resistance around $2.20 on an end-of-day close basis. Obviously, it was rather close one thing on Friday. Otherwise, the next level down, probably the $1.70 area, $1.80 area. And that was the old November resistance. So ideally, we stay above that. But we're really lucky we could stay above 220 and then retest $3 plus by the end of this month. What is exciting here is the way that we've had multiple RSI 50 rebounds, and also we've got the 50-day line rising near the low. So should have some follow through there. That's it for me today. More updates during the week.